The Center for Energy and Economic Development, working for a clean, high-technology future with coal.
Stand by your man. Anyway, is right. They just said stand by to us. Or, well, what do you want? I mean, we're tired. I'm taking a cold. I don't feel good.
Well, get out of
I'm
my
crabby. Here, have these germs.
I've been feeling great. You know, Johnson, your problem is you go and you get these doggone shots every year, and then he gets sick for 6 months.
And I hate to tell you,
I have never had a shot, never been sick, don't get flu. What?
you know, it looks like it, doesn't it? Because I did have a flu shot this year.
You did. You got
But I
flu. You've
always
been
have a
sick ever
flu
since.
shot. But I have 3 colds right in a row, and I
Same
don't like
thing
it.
with the bubonic plague. It came.
Oh, no.
I didn't get sick. Everybody else deader than Nixon.
Side Joel, rasty head, boy.
Oh, boy.
Well, anyway, look, let me.
Oh, dear.
Oh well, that's the way it goes. That's show business. Let me show everybody what I got to do. I'm doing this soup today, cabbage bean soup, the soup of death. That was sent in by Bernice Atkins.
I got to tell you something. I have, ladies and gentlemen, been with Johnson for approximately 22 years. And the last 14 or 15, I've been around him a great deal through this show. And I'm glad I ain't going to be with him this very afternoon. So, enough of that.
Well, anyway, Bernice Atkins of Virginia Beach, Virginia, has sent in this recipe. And this recipe, now, Virginia, you're, I'm sure, a sweet woman, but this recipe is goofy. Goofy, I want to tell you.
And she's
because
not a sweet woman either.
you have to take this is
I've met her.
beef broth, and you have to chill it so the fat comes to the surface, and it does.
And
so
it bobs right
see,
up
and there it is, right there.
Looks
There's
like little peas or
right,
something
and
floating around.
so we're going to defat it. But then she asks you to do something that is extremely bad for you.
Eat the fat.
No,
Oh.
worse than that.
Well, I was just guessing.
No, Jack Spratt
Eat
is
the
going
fat.
to be
His
here.
wife could eat no lean, and when Jack left the room, she licked the platter plate.
Clean. Right, thank you. That's pretty good. I couldn't get a hold on. Anyway, all right, now here is our defatted soup, and we're going to put it in a big pot on our new gas range, and I'm going to dump it down in here because it's, or no, our new, what is this thing? Electric. I'm telling you, I don't feel good. Now, here's what's goofy, and then
What?
I'm going to turn it
You
over
mean
to
that
you.
wasn't goofy?
No, this is goofy.
Was it mini?
You put your oh, wait a minute, I guess
Was it
I better
Mickey?
turn it on
No,
here.
it was goofy.
All right. You put broth in a big pan, and then you add to it 2 beef bouillon cubes. Now, that's what's goofy about it, because beef bouillon cubes are, or any bouillon cubes are full, chock full, just completely full of salt. And I can't figure out how to go to all the trouble to defat the broth when you're going to turn around and salt it up for who laid the rail.
Is this cabbage bean soup you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm putting my 2 beef bouillon cubes down in the beef broth.
No. I'm asking
No,
because,
no.
you know, I said that Bernice Atkins wasn't a nice person, but she is. I'm sure I was just kidding, Bernice. Just a little joke there. Now, I am doing today easy borscht.
Easy borscht.
Easy borscht.
Easy for you to say.
Don't get too close to your TV screen, ladies and gentlemen. Sent in by John Newman of San Francisco, California.
San
Hey.
Francisco, open your golden gate.
You know, I have to cut the heads off of these little carrots. 3 at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Such talent you've never seen.
Good grief, it sounds like the finale of Dialogue of the Carmelites.
Now, I tell you, this
That's a little opera joke for all you little opera lovers out there.
little opera lovers, all you little opera lovers out there in TV land. Listen, you got an awful lot of chopping to do for borscht. Borscht is basically a peasant dish of Russia, and it requires an awful lot of chopping, and and instead of doing all that chopping, and you couldn't possibly, well, you could. What you could do is you could just take, I guess you could take an old cabbage shredder and shred it all by hand if you wanted to, but I just prefer to dump it all in here and just sort of chop it up in the food processor. And so take yourself about 5 or 6 carrots, and what you're going to do is you're going to start out with all the stuff that needs to be pre-cooked and chop those all up. Oh, that ought to be enough. I'm tired of messing with it. So anyway, put those in there and chop them. Now I've got some water, just plain old water with salt in it, on top of the stove heating up right now. About a cup and a half, as I recall. 2 2/3 cups of boiling salted water, as I just said. This thing isn't right. That's enough. You don't want to puree it, for heaven's sakes. You just want to chop it up a little bit. Now put that in there. This is a real easy dish. It's a nice soup, and I'm going to tell you something. I had it yesterday evening, and it was wonderful, and everybody who tasted it thought it was delightful. There's nothing you could do wrong.
3 of them called me today and said they could still taste it.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
Now, isn't that something? And some onions, about a cup of chopped carrots, and 1 cup of chopped onions. People are making fun of me. Just a little bit. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to rough chop this and put it in there, and we'll all grind that up a little bit. Johnson, what are you doing?
Well, I'm chopping up some cabbage and some onions. I've got a cup and a half of chopped onions, and now I'm trying to come up with about 2 cups of chopped cabbage.
It's a real corny group down here, we have a real corny bunch working
Oh,
the
it's
floor
beginning to boil. Oh, I'm so glad.
here. Very good.
Now,
Is this a good?
that's
Have you
two
tried this soup? Have you actually laid your lips on this soup, Johnson?
Are you kidding? When do I have time?
Well, you were home all day yesterday, weren't you?
No, I was out
Okay.
in the spirit of the holiday season doing
All right.
stuff.
Put your onions in there and do the same thing with those. Don't overdo them now. That ought to be real nice.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't overdo.
Don't overdo them. There you go. Put those in there. Okay. Next, we're going to do some beets.
While you're doing that,
Go ahead.
I'm putting my cabbage and my onions down in my hot broth here, and they've got to cook about 10 minutes.
Well,
This-
while you're doing there's nothing in there. Okay. Fooled you, didn't I? Now, we got some beets. Need about, one of my beets got away from me. 2 cups of shredded beets. And I couldn't find any fresh ones to save my soul yesterday, so I had to get some canned ones. I hate to do that, but I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want it too much, and I can't have made much difference. An old beet is an old beet. There you go. That should do it. Just rough chop it. Put those in there. I tell you, this is a wonderful soup. Have I told you that?
No, I'm so glad to hear that it's good.
Next thing, I'm not going to use all those because you don't want to overdo that. Powers the flavor if you use too many of the turnips. Not turnips, beets. Beets, I meant to say, but I couldn't hear what I was saying. All right, next thing you need to do now, we need to shred up some, a little bit of cabbage, about a cup of shredded cabbage. And they had a special on some burned out, old, tired cabbages yesterday, red cabbage, and I think it's real pretty for this recipe, so went on ahead and bought some. I thought it just went right along with this recipe. Don't you agree, John?
I do. I certainly do. Yes, I do.
I don't think he's paying a bit of attention to
I'm
this
not.
show
I'm
today.
worried about this.
As a matter of
too.
fact, you may not know this, but while I am on, he's off watching another show
I
in the
am.
corner, in the living room. Watching one of those soap operas.
No, I'm not. I'm watching Julia Child's show. The Geriatric Gourmet.
Okay. And we'll chop some of that up now. That's a little more than we need, but you never outgrow your need for cabbage. And we'll put that in there.
I
Over
hope you
to-
don't ruin that thing.
No, I'm not going to ruin it. These things are made to be beat around.
Ruin it.
Huh? You ought to see how... I got one of those big heavy-duty ones at home. One of those Cuisinarts. And you can't,
Well,
you can't
whoopsie-doo.
ruin those things. They're heavy-duty. Now, I have got a couple of big pieces I've taken out of there. I don't want those to be floating around. And that's just about right. That's really a good consistency. In fact, it's a little better than I did yesterday because the phone rang, and I think I Cuisinarted mine right into oblivion. So anyway, that's that. Now, bring that stuff to a boil, and you'll boil that for 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to stand here for 20 minutes, and then I'll be right back with you. Johnson?
Boil that cabbage down.
boil that.
So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Now we're going to pretend that this has cooked for 10 minutes, even though it has in real time cooked for less than that.
We knew that.
Mhm. And I'm now going to add a 16-ounce can of tomatoes, and I'm using sliced stewed tomatoes.
Had my ear in your shot.
Oh, how unfortunate for you. And I'm adding that to this wonderful mixture. And now here comes the part that'll kill you. A can of red beans. These old red pintos. Cheapest ones I could find, the store-bought brand.
There has never been an expensive pinto that tasted any better than the cheapest pinto you could buy.
And we'll just dump these bad
This
boys.
is where the term exploding pinto came from. You thought it had to do with the car, didn't
Oh, no.
you? Boy, we have a good time on this show, don't
now,
we?
now, all you got to do, Larry, is just hope that this stuff gets hot enough so that we can eat it without gagging. It smells pretty good. Now, you do not put any more salt in this. Remember, the bouillon has got tons of salt in it. So we're not going to add any more salt to it. I guess you could add some pepper, but this stuff probably is just going to have a natural flavor to it.
I'm doing the dishes.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Well, you know, since Mel left, we just
Well,
can't depend on
you
him.
know, I saw him the other day, and that dog high-hatted me.
I
Just
saw him.
pretended I wasn't there and just went right on by. Who does he think he is, anyway?
Well-
Just a little shrimp.
A shrimp who has
A
moved
shrimp
on
wimp.
to better things.
Right. Yeah.
Unemployment.
Right.
Boy, that'll
I'd
tell
hate
you
to
something.
tell you where I saw him. I've never seen a dog in a harmonica exactly like
I
that.
gotta add full of that in a couple minutes. Now, how much time do we have left on this program? Oh, I thought,
Oh.
good heavens, I hadn't seen the halfway point. I don't think Jim's giving me cues anymore because I said something rude about his camera abilities. 20 minutes this has been boiling in salt water. Next thing you're going to do now is add a tablespoon of butter. And, of course, you also have to add, at this point now, you have to add all of your other stuff, your broth, and some more water. Because if you don't, it'll be too thick. Now, this is clear beef broth. I'm going to add a little water to that, too. It doesn't say beef broth.
Do I have to stay to the end of
It
the show
doesn't-
today? I'm ready to go
No,
right now.
no, Johnson. Most of us would like to see you go right now. Go right on ahead. Now, the recipe does not say what kind of broth, but I looked up. I have numerous recipe books at home, and I looked up to see which is the more predominant of the type of broth to use, and beef is the broth of choice. So therefore,
Well, I
beef
think
it
it's
is.
real funny that my version of this said use shrimp stock.
shrimp stock.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Shrimp stock. I never heard tell us such a thing.
I was just kidding with you.
So anyway, and at the last minute you will, and we will do this, you'll add about a half a thang of lemon to it. And as you serve it individually in the bowls, you need to put a little wad of sour cream in each one. And that just sets it off. It's so beautiful. It's wonderful. This is a great soup. It really is. And I have one that I cooked up yesterday. And this is what it looks like. Doesn't look like much of anything. Well, it is, though. It's beautiful.
Well, you haven't turned it on.
It's gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Well, leave it alone. It's hot. I get tired of you yapping about how you can't taste it because it's too hot. I heated it up. It's hot.
Oh, well,
but it's not boiling hot.
Oh, well.
Because I didn't want you to get upset.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you're so concerned
So anyway.
about the quality
Now
of
I'm
my
going
tongue,
to, oh, well, I'm
which is
concerned about it.
suffering
I'm terribly
tremendously.
concerned about it. Now I'm going to open the sour cream in anticipation. And look, it is hermetically sealed for our protection. So anyway, we'll open that up and we'll get ready to use that in just a little bit. I need a small spoon, please, Doris. Doris is with us today.
Doris has
As a
got
matter of
soup,
fact,
too.
Doris has Grandma's bean soup, and Grandma is mad about it. She says, "Where is my?" And I said, "Doris is taking your soup." So come on in here with your spoon, honey, and just
Yeah, bring it on in here.
In other words, come on in, Doris. In other words,
This recipe was sent in by Laurie Turnquist.
well, here, I'll let you put it right here if you're nervous about
I
it.
have two.
You have two?
Well, yes, let me just hold on here.
Doris is bringing in the second of at least 15 soups that she brought today. Doris is having problems with her towel sticking. Well, she has discovered what we
It's
know.
just like that toilet paper that was stuck to her shoe the other day.
Well, hang on. I'm your microphone, and I'm not anywhere close to you. All right, go ahead, Doris.
Well, it looks the same here, but this recipe it's beans, potatoes, it's northern beans. This has ham in it, and the recipe said you could either use ham or chicken. So I made both of them so you could try the difference. See, we think
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if your television is properly prepared, that will look like a bean.
that's great northern beans, chicken, and carrots, and that's potato, and that's all. That's it. But
Is it any good?
Yes.
Have you tried it?
And Harold even took some to work with him today.
Oh, no, not Harold.
The ham one, yeah. They
Oh,
like the
my
ham one.
heavens.
But yes, it is. I think
He'll
it's
be
quite good.
jet-propelled for the remainder of the day. That Harold will give him lots of energy, pep and energy.
And I just wondered how come you gave me this recipe. Because it said grandma.
I don't know.
No, it just seemed appropriate, Doris.
That's Doris. You just remind us of our grandmother.
That's right.
But anyway, and that was sent in by Laurie Turnquist of Lakewood, Florida.
And I think it's quite good. Like that.
Yeah,
It smells
please.
wonderful. It really is. Let's look at the recipes right now. The Easy Borscht, sent in by John Newman of San Francisco. 2 cups of shredded beets.
Open your golden gate.
Cup of chopped carrots. If you burst out like that one more time. A cup of chopped onion.
Wait till I have some of this soup.
2 2/3 cup of boiling salted water. 2 cups of broth. That's beef broth if you want to be true to the recipe. Cup of shredded cabbage. A tablespoon of butter. Teaspoon of lemon juice, which we're going to put in there just before serving, and sour cream for a garnish. That's optional. If you don't like sour cream, forget it, but that's what it's usually served with.
And this is old Bernice Atkins of Virginia Beach sent in this cabbage bean soup. It's a can of beef broth, 2 beef bouillon cubes, 2 cups of shredded cabbage, 1.5 cups of chopped onions, a 16-ounce can of tomatoes, and a 16-ounce can of red beans or kidney beans. And let's hear some kidney jokes, Fly.
How about Grandma's soup there, John?
Well, Grandma's soup from old Laurie Turnquist of Lakewood, Florida, calls for 6 cups of water, hard to come by these days, pound of dried Great Northern or Navy beans, 2 to 3 cups of cooked cubed ham or chicken, 1 large onion chopped, 4 to 6 medium boiling potatoes, salt and pepper to taste, 3 or 4 large carrots peeled and chopped. Sounds real easy.
Now,
I'm sure
just
it is.
before you serve this, you take some fresh lemon and squeeze it in there, a couple of tablespoons full. squeeze that in there. This is not boiled properly, but pretend like it, okay? And then what you do is you take the here, you take the soup that you've cooked already, which looks like this, and you serve it like so. And let me show you what you do to it from there. Borscht is a wonderful, wonderful soup. It's very lovely, too. Take about just a nice little tablespoonful, not an awful lot, don't overdo it, of sour cream and put it right in the middle, and you serve it like that. And eventually, if it's hot enough, it'll go throughout the soup, and it gives it a nice little tart flavor that sort of offsets all the rest of it. Very lovely. This is a great soup. I like it. So anyway, that's that. Well, I guess Johnson has gone. He had to go home early.
Still here.
Oh, he's still here. Oh, so we have the witch, I believe, is supposed to
The
come in.
witch is going to come in.
No, she's gone, too.
No,
She has gone
she
home
said she wanted to know, bring
with Johnson.
send her in.
Send her in. There she is. She is indeed here.
Oh, wait a minute. This is kind of an exotic letter. Goodbye. I said goodbye.
There she goes.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Johnson, this is terrible.
Well,
What's,
look at this.
Appears as though something is burned here.
Look at that. Isn't that
That
terrible?
is terrible. That's awful.
Just burnt right up.
I wonder if that didn't
It
set
says,
something off here.
We need some new recipes. The guys at Old Number One. Huh? Oh, we need some new...
Firehouse.
The firehouse.
Oh,
yeah, next
okay.
week we're going to the Old Number One firehouse here in our fair city. And
Which dates back, what, to the 1800s?
yeah, it does. And we're going
Sure
to
does.
cook some stuff up right at the fire truck.
By the way, I have one thing to tell you, Johnson. Each pound of coal supplies enough electricity to light 10 light bulbs. That's 100 watts for about 1 hour. Okay? Do you guys memorize that? We're going to be coming around here and asking you later on. Okay, are we ready to serve this stuff?
Well, I'm trying to dish up some here and I'll...
Well, I'm going to. Well, if you can dish it out, you can take it. Oh,
You want a lot of it?
no, no,
Brian?
no. That's the greatest of funny, Johnson. I think 5 or 6 soups in one day is about my limit.
Woo! That's hot.
Well, that's good. I just spilled borscht down my shoe. Doris thinks it's funny.
I just scalded my thumb.
Well, this is the biggest mess, trying to get this over here. We are so indelicate about it.
Thank you. Pull my tail.
Well, let me try Johnson's mess here. What is this stuff called? Is this Grandma's soup?
No, this is cabbage bean soup. You try it. I can't wait to lay into this borscht.
Well, Grandma's soup is fairly good. It's fairly raw, but it's fairly good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in it is raw.
No, Doris, this is Grandma's. and
Well,
the
but
two
yours,
different
what was
versions.
yours?
Cabbage bean.
Well, the cabbage, it's good. It's
The
all right.
borscht is delicious.
Isn't that nice?
Really.
Let me try Grandma's soup number 1.
Is that with chicken or ham?
This is with ham. Oh, Doris, very nice.
Now, you know, I just hate dried beans, but this is real tasty.
Now, I haven't tried Grandma's soup number 2. Did you pull that up chicken meat? Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And let me see if my borscht is as good as it was 6 days ago when I started it. It is. That is a marvelous soup. I tell you what, sounds like Inner Sanctum.
Oh,
here.
it does. Either that or somebody is anticipating the
Well,
digestive
you know, it's
wind.
a pretty good soup here that blows. That goes here. And where did we get these fancy little? Ooh, aren't they pretty, ladies and gentlemen? New salt and pepper
We're trying to
shakers.
have
I love pepper, and none of this
Woo,
has
this
any
is
in.
hot.
So, is it really? See, didn't you notice that mine is just the right tepid, so you didn't burn your lips? Well, this is real good, and I tell you what, this has been the most fun soup party I've ever been to.
I know. Have one at home yourself.
It's been a great soup
A big
party.
soup party.
But we have to get out of here because I'm about borsted out.
And I will be just a little while.
She'll
Boy,
come back
this
next
looks
week. Please, goodbye.
The Center for Energy and Economic Development, working for a clean, high-technology future with Kohl's.
For this season's recipe, send $4.95 plus $2.50 postage and handling to WBRA-TV, Cookin' Cheap, 1400 Series, P.O. Box 13246, Roanoke, Virginia, 24032. Please allow 3 to 6 weeks for delivery, and don't forget to ask for the 1400 Series.